time away from your little baba to come and hold this space with me when we dive on into the art of sacred space holding in birth. And I'm really excited to bring this episode, this video, this interview to the people out there, whether you who are watching this or listening to this, if you are a birth worker already, if you maybe are someone who wants to become a birth worker, or you're a mother who's about to have a baby, maybe you're a sister or a mother or a friend to someone who's about to have a baby, this talk with you, Emily, and the unfoldment of what will be downloaded, because truly I haven't planned this, but I just felt the calling to bring this piece of wisdom, this piece of embodied wisdom that I hold, that I've cultivated, but that each and every one of us can tap into. It's not a secret I hold, and it's something I want to share. So thank you for joining me as one of my beautiful Spiritual Midwife Mentorship students, mentees. I'm so grateful that you wanted to come on.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. And this topic, sacred space holding, I feel like it's such a deep, vast topic that we could talk about for probably ever. But I really just wanted to pick your brain a little bit and hear a little more about your embodied wisdom around sacred space holding.
Yeah, thank you. And I know that, you have a beautiful little baba. So we have X amount of time. I am ready with both a cup of chai tea and a cacao to fuel my brain this morning so that I can bring you as much of that wisdom through. Um, so, for me, truly, I hold this workshop called the Art of Sacred Space Holding in Birth. And I recently held this workshop in Australia, where I'm currently at. For the next month, I've been here for a couple already. And, at that workshop, I had all kinds of birth workers, including a head of obstetrics, which is really
Wow.
exciting. Yes, really
Yeah.
exciting, to have the different kind of birth workers show up, everything from, there's a mother there about to have a baby, and there was doulas, and, so there was all kinds of birth workers. And this is what I really want with this, talk that we're going to have, is this wisdom is for everyone to gain something from. And one of the things that I always say in this workshop when I hold it is that, and I truly believe this, I'm a midwife, I've been to uni, I have so much different embodied wisdom, but also trainings behind me that I've attended from early age of like 14, 15 throughout my adult life. And that wisdom is amazing, that knowledge, right? Book knowledge, knowing things, like my brain is filled with this knowledge. But, and I say this in the face then of both obstetrics and head of obstetrics and, midwives, doulas, everyone, is that, yes, like your wisdom and the vastness of that wisdom and the embodied experience of being at birth, if you truly, already are a birth worker, is invaluable. It's amazing. But someone without any knowledge, and I truly mean this, someone with zero knowledge of birth, if you come into the birth space as a clear channel, and we'll talk a bit more about this, but like a clear channel, you come in pure presence. You have cultivated yourself to be this person that you don't have this. We all have a monkey mind, more or less, only an enlightened person, which is, I don't know if we have many of them on the earth. And even them, I think, drop in and out of that state because we're human. And so we have a monkey mind. But what I mean is that someone who can cultivate themselves to quiet that quiet that monkey mind, be fully present in the moment, drop into their heart, drop into their womb space if they're a woman. This is really where our power lies, like feeling, sensing, hearing, listening, tapping into the mystery, the quantum field, all the information that is floating around in that room. That is truly the power that you hold as a space holder of birth. Because if you can cultivate yourself to be able to do that, then you're such a gift for that woman. Now let's talk about the opposite, which my experience as having worked as a midwife, both in the hospital system, birth center, and at home, being a student before I was registered, watching birth workers in all those different places, meeting doulas, meeting mothers of birthing women, partners of birthing women, just being the witness of so many people who are in the birth space. This is not something that I would say 99.9% of those people did or even knew how to access. And this is what I feel very passionate about, speaking about, teaching, and sharing with the world, really. Hence also how the Spiritual Midwife Mentorship Program was born, right? Because of this. It came to a point where I got a bit fed up, really, if I'm going to be honest. It's just going like, come on, people. It's hard, but it's simple. It's very much both, because it is hard to cultivate this in yourself, and it's also really simple. You just need to decide to do so, decide to want to become better, especially as someone who holds such a sacred, potent space as the portal of birth. It's such an important role, whether you are the partner, the mother, the sister, or the doula, midwife, obstetrician.
This may be an obvious question and answer, but I would love to hear your spin on why it's important. If someone is not a clear channel, like what might happen versus if they were.
All right, great. Yeah, perfect question. Yeah, so let's start with everyone who listens to this interview, I think, has some sort of idea of what helps the physiology of birth. Because if you listen to this, you're interested in birth, right? You're interested in the birthing process and probably know this. But if you don't, I'll just say it again. So what aids the physiology of birth, the process, the natural process of a woman's birthing body, is that she feels safe, that she feels undisturbed, that she is in a place of feeling loved and supported. That is truly what's going to make her body work the best, the whole process, both for mom and baby. It's going to create the safest outcomes for mom and baby. Both her environment, that she perceives it as safe, loving, supportive, and that she doesn't feel absorbed by her environment, people in her environment, but also her internal world, that she in herself feels safe. That she herself feel that she herself is supporting her, that she's trusting her, right? So that it's two dynamics here. The outer that can affect her process, and her inner world. Which most women will go through, there'll be fear, there'll be anxiety. All of this is also a part of the natural birth process. It's how she handles it. It's if she spins with that, and that can have effects that then causes a disturbance in that process, or if she can meet that, move through that, lean into that, witness that, voice that potentially to the people in her room so they can assist her in moving through that, you know? So this is where, you know, why women throughout the ages always have had a wise woman or sisters around her. You know, women have always had some sort of midwife in her space that has witnessed births before, that is that strong pillar that will just anchor her in, you know, mirror to her that what you're going through is normal, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm digressing. But but just painting that picture, you understand that the person in the room can be either that which I just spoke of, that pillar of strength and wisdom and grounded energy that just maybe with a gaze can look at a woman, mirror her, saying, "You're doing fine. This is all normal." And that's all that woman needs to even just maybe look at a midwife sitting in the corner, so calm, going, "All is fine," when she herself maybe having an internal surge of fear. You know what I mean? So that presence of someone sitting in the corner is so important. However, think about that present instead running in and out of the room, barely being present, maybe being in the room, but being on the phone or chatting to the husband about, I don't know, what happened yesterday. Yeah, you're, you know, you're getting a reaction in your body, right? Yes,
Yeah.
because you have an embodied understanding what it's like, right? Both to birth as a mother, and how it feels to have someone in your room that either is present with you or not. And that is so powerful and so misunderstood by both women and birth workers, that people don't realize the power they hold just by their presence. So let me tell you what can happen if you're not cultivating yourself as this clear channel, being able to be present for the unfoldment of the mystery of that woman, anchoring yourself into the space, being this solid person without fear, because this is so important.
Yeah.
This is the process of cultivating you as a clear channel, is working through your own stuff. And we'll get into that a bit more. But if you haven't done that, then you will bring your own stuff. You know, say you are an obstetrician walking in there, you mostly, because obstetricians mostly will see things that go bad. Obstetricians are and should be called in for surgery. They are experts at surgery. They should not be in the birth space of a natural physiological birth. In many places, especially the US, they are not the keepers of normal. They are the saviors that come in when something truly you know, they should be called in for true emergencies, which is very few percentage of women that actually need that. It's very different to what we're seeing in the world, but that is actually what they are needed for, and they're brilliant at it. So imagine an obstetrician walking in and out, because they usually do, very short and brief, and they come in, they might have come from something else that has been traumatic and stressful. They have so much baggage of that stories, because that's mostly what they see, things going wrong and being pathologized. What kind of energy will that person bring into the space if they don't know how to fully clear themselves, come in as the blank slate, actually meet that woman in her process and let that unfold? Very, very, very few obstetricians would have that capacity, both because their working environment wouldn't allow that to be fully present at a birth. You know, they probably have several that they're running between, similar to midwives in the system. You know, very few midwives in the system today have the luxury, I want to say, of actually sitting with women in the birth space. They might have 3 birthing women at the same time on the ward that they're caring for, and they're running to the one that soon is going to birth. You know, and that's a lot of stress that she's holding. And so she's bringing that into the birth space. A woman who's birthing is hypersensitive of her environment.
Oh, yeah.
She has her own, obviously, process, which is huge, but she will also tap into everyone in her room and beyond that room. She will feel what's going on for everyone in that room. And then we add the aspect of women being carers and nurturers and wanting to care for others. most women will
Good
also
girl.
then, yes, will also then want to help that stressed obstetrician or that stressed midwife,
Mhm.
or don't disturb her, or feel into
Mhm.
her stress and take it on. We're so good at taking on other people's stuff. So do you realize then that that person running in and out, or that person being in the space, or just, the partner sitting on his phone in the same room, not
Mm.
being present for her, that will not make her feel safe, will not make her feel loved, will not make her feel supported. When she doesn't feel those things, that in the core of her, in the depth of her, from her surroundings, that will affect her birth process.
Mm.
The hormones are so delicate.
Yeah.
The birthing hormones are so delicate. And if we have a surge of uncertainty, fear, questioning, we get into our minds as birthing women, we get into the neocortex, we're not in our birthing primal bodies, we slow down or even can stop the birth process. That's how powerful our minds are when we're birthing. And that is something that is wired in us, from back in the day, like when we needed to really, fight or flee, right? The fight and flight response, or freeze is also part of it. But, that's something that is supposed to save us, but today it's causing failure to progress, which is one of the most common things women are labeled with in the birth culture we're in, that they
Right.
failed to progress. They didn't fail. Usually the environment around them, the people around them, this is why sacred space holding is so important, to understand how to be this channel, because no woman should have that on her birth notes. If you have failure to progress, that was not you. Your body is so wise. It didn't birth, it didn't continue the process because it didn't feel safe to do so. This is the key, and I want everyone to
Yeah.
know this and hear this. This is
Mm.
the key: safety, emotional, mental, spiritual, cultural, physical safety, on all levels safety. I don't mean safety of just physical body safety. I mean all levels of you. If you don't feel that safety, you will slow down your process to make sure
Mm.
you can get to a place where you feel safe. That is how
Yeah.
nature wired you. So, a person who cannot be present in the birth room, hold this space for her, will be a hindrance to her process. So, anyone listening right now, mothers who might be, about to birth a baby, this is why picking your birth team is absolutely everything.
Mm.
Everything. You need to deeply trust your intuition who you pick. You need to listen to their words. You need to realize that is this person first and foremost, an expert in normal or
Mm.
pathological, if you choose between an obstetrician and a midwife. And, when it comes to doulas, friends, partners, mothers, tuning to them, if they are in your room when you're birthing, when you're hypersensitive, and they go into fear. They see you in
Mm.
perceived distress, or they're just not a person that can be present. I mean, let's face it, in our modern world, not many people are. So maybe you love your mother, but your mother can't be present. She's always in the
Mhm.
future or in the past. She's always chatting. She's not very in tuned, and she shouldn't
Mhm.
be in your birth space. So for a birthing woman, I want you to think about this. And if you are an aspiring birth worker, if you are a birth worker, I want you to really think about this. Think about the presence you bring into a birth space.
Mm.
And do you know how to calm your monkey mind, how to be in your heart, how to step
Mhm.
into presence? This is
Mm.
key, because otherwise you're most likely disturbing that woman's process.
Mm.
That is just one of the aspects. The second one is that if you can't do this, if you can't be in the present now, if you can't cultivate yourself in this manner, you won't be able to tap into the unseen mystery of that space that birth holds. And birth is such a portal. There's so much
Mm.
information
Mm.
in the energy in that room. If you
Mm.
cannot find stillness within you to sit and listen through your heart and a woman through your womb, in that birth space, you will not be able to fully serve the woman. Because when you can, you'll be able to know the unknown, see the unseen. And this is where the magic happens. When you, as a space holder of birth, whoever you are, can actually just sit in the space and scan through it, feel into the woman, feel into the partner, feel into the space, what's going on. You will know, without knowing what to say, when it's needed to say it, what might need to shift in the room. Subtle things that will make a world of difference. And this is what I've had so much amazing experience in as a space holder myself, and knowing the difference and watching birth unfold, watching and feeling and sensing into how something I said or didn't say, do or didn't do, aided her, helped her. But you can't get to this point if you can't sit on your hands and just be with birth. And this is the greatest key. And again, turning back to like what I spoke to the, to the participants of my workshop just a month ago with the head of obstetrics, I said, all your knowledge is amazing and will help so much in that space, but only if you step in not expecting anything. Clean slate. Walking in for that woman as a clean slate, no expectation, just observing the space, feeling into the space, listening to her, and trusting her innate wisdom, trusting her birth process. The natural birth process is designed beautifully to unfold. And the more you know that the less you do, the better it will unfold.
So, I mean, we're so grateful for our OBs and midwives and all of these people that come in and help us when we need them to. And we have a shortage of them. We already know we have a shortage of midwives and nurses and all of these helpers, but it sounds like the role of the sacred space holder is also in great shortage across, like that is like the great shortage. And that's why when I hope soon we're going to talk about your mentorship, because I personally seek to be a sacred space holder at the birth altar. I'm a retired nurse, and I know all about what goes on inside those hospital walls and how important it is to have someone there to help advocate. I also had my own natural and empowering birth, which was a phenomenal mind-bending experience, and I was so sensitive. Anybody who came into the room, it was like, whoa, like it's too much. Everything was just too much. Everything needed to be like super slow, just like take it way down. And I just needed to be like inside, but I needed an anchor. That was what I realized, after looking back and processing it all, was I didn't have that solid anchor that I needed, the reminder that, hey, you're about to birth a baby, woman, and you're doing a great job, So yeah, I just got super inspired to like work in the birth field here after leaving nursing and having my own beautiful birth. And I've been listening to your podcast the whole way through my pregnancy. And yeah, so I know that you had mentioned with the mentorship that we don't necessarily need prerequisites, but did you want to talk a little bit more about that? I mean, I'm a nurse, but could just anybody apply?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, the process of the mentorship is that you apply, you get sent a few questions about, you and just what drew you to this kind of program, because everything that the mentorship, sorry, frog in my throat, everything in the mentorship program, the Spiritual Midwife Mentorship Program, weaves back to cultivating you as the sacred space holder. Absolutely everything. And what I'm looking for is women who are feeling just this deep calling. That doesn't have to even have, you don't have to have a vision of what that looks like to work with. You don't have to have a vision of even know really why. You just know that you need to be the witness and the sacred space holder for birth. Because that, just what I said, it's not about what you know, it's about who you are, what you bring to the space, right? I mean, so far who have applied and been invited are, anything from maidens who haven't birthed themselves, who have never seen a birth, who work, at something totally different in the world, but just know she just has this calling. She just loves listening to birth stories. She just loves reading about birth, learning about birth. There are yoga teachers, meditation teachers. There are nurses like you. There are mothers who had their own empowering births and now feel awakened to this power and just know they have to sit in this mystery with other women. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for women who have a calling, who just knows in their bones that this is something for them. They listen to, to the podcast or read books and just resonate deeply to their core. That's what I'm looking for, like this beautiful, this passion. And this mentorship is going to give you so much knowledge. There'll be so much knowledge, but this is not a doula course. This is not a midwifery course. This is not a course that teaches you medical skills. It's not a course that necessarily focuses on that aspect. Even though there'll be so much to learn, it actually is much more. It's much more a mentorship and a place to cultivate yourself as a sacred space holder. So there'll be a lot of reflection, a lot of self-inner work, a lot of peeling off your own worldview, your mask that you might know you hold or not. It will be looking at everything from your maternal lineage, how they, what they come with as women, informing you. We will talk about epigenetics on all levels, and it starts with you. So it's very much an embodied experience that you then can bring into assisting women in pregnancy, birth, and beyond, but truly just as a life skill in whatever job, or as a mother, a friend, a wife. It's truly, it's so much more than just being the space holder for birth. We will unravel your lineage, your own birth. If you birth your own babies, your menarche, we will unravel being a woman in the world, her story, your relationship to your body, sexuality, because it's all intertwined. If you have a hang up about your body or sexuality, then how will you sit with a woman who is very much going to sound like she's making love, who's going to be wild? How are you with nature being wild, a woman that is roaring her baby out? Can you sit in the power of that? So we start with you. We start with you, and it will be the continuation throughout the mentorship. It is not just about learning about the physiology of birth and how to do the rebozo and press and acupressure points, even though we'll learn that too, This mentorship is so much deeper, so much more vast. And you're really coming to this mentorship to step up to the plate and go, okay, I want to witness what in me is going to hinder someone else in their process. Let me strip myself clean. And it's only going to be the beginning, it's not going to be the be on and end all. It's just a start. This mentorship is like a start on a deeper journey that will continue. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. I'm still unraveling so much of myself, and that will be a lifelong process. But that is what I'm inviting. That's what I'm inviting women to come into this mentorship to do. It's not just a basic doula course that you can then go out and sit at births and hold a nice space for someone. I want you to be a true space holder for birth, and that begins with you becoming that yourself. And as you learn about yourself, you can also bring that wisdom out to women. When you sit in a conversation with a woman who's about to birth, ask her, how did your mother and your grandmother birth their babies? What is your red thread, your maternal lineage thread? Tell you a lot.
Yeah.
So that's my little rant about that.
Oh, I love it. It just like came in, took a little hook on my heart and was like pulling me. I love that so much. Beautiful. So yeah, again, it feels like it just has like dimensions all over the place, but maybe just to like make it a little more simply put, do you want to talk about the actual structure of the mentorship and what that's going to look like, the length of time and what all is going to happen within the mentorship?
Yeah, sure. So the mentorship is a container that's really deep, and we're really in it all
Juicy.
together. Yes, for about 6 months, right? During these 6 months, each month we'll open up with a master class where we all gather. This is online, international, so anyone can join. And we dive on into these juicy topics together. And whatever's going to be unfolded in the online learning portal that month will be what we dive into, or part of it that we dive deeper into together on that day. Then in the month, you take part of the readings that are recommended, the videos, the listening and watching material that you'll be invited to do. There'll be home play, assignments, reflections. Sometimes there'll be that you will connect with another mentee, another student of the mentorship, and you two will meet online and do some work together.
That sounds great.
And then you'll also meet with me once a month. So in the middle of the month, you'll book in for a one-on-one with me for about 1.5 to 2 hours where we sit. And whatever has unfolded for you that month. So this is very much going to be a unique journey for everyone. Everyone comes with different things that we will shine light on. This mentorship will tickle you and probe you, and sometimes things will also erupt for you as you discover things about yourself that go like, whoa, that I didn't know I held that. So I'm here to hold space for you, to hold you, to midwife you as things unfold for you, as we clear you, as we look through, the layers of you. It's also obviously a chance for you to bring your own questions or your own thing about your own life or your own unfoldment as a space holder of birth. You get me privately, Q&A privately if you want, so it's very much whatever you want and whatever you bring. And we go as deep as you choose to. Again, you set the pace. If you want to come with the depth, then I'll hold your depth. If you come with your questions and you want to just chat, we just chat. If you need a more deeper somatic experience, I will hold that and guide you in that journey. We will be doing the work that you need throughout these 6 months. And then in the end of the month, we have a Q&A, a support circle for the group to come together and kind of, I guess, weave and close somehow, even though it's an unfoldment. So we don't really close that month for whatever we've been, opening. It's kind of that's just an opening, and it continues to do its processes. And you might continue to work on some of those aspects for the rest of the year or rest of your life, right? But we kind of, come together and have a big Q&A. Everyone can bring things that they've learned. There'll be like just, a coming together again. And then we continue that. We open the month with a masterclass. We do the things during the month. We close the end of the month with a Q&A. And in the middle, you'll meet me and get your one-on-one mentoring. So that's kind of the structure. And after the 6 months, you will have still the continuation for another 6 months of support. So that Q&A circle, that support and debriefing circle, that will continue once a month for the rest of the year. And you'll have continued access to the online community with all your peers. And we will be there for you 24/7 as you step out into the world of birth, which
feels very important.
So important, which is something that I missed, and that I feel is missing for most trainings out there. That you get support when you're in the training, but then, that ends on the note when you end training. And, I would have loved, we had that when I was a student midwife, we had a group of us that would meet regularly to debrief, to check in, to be able to sit and share our birth stories when things were amazing and when things were traumatic, or it would also, listening to other people go through it would teach me a lot. I would learn from their experience, and to be witnessed, to sometimes have to sit in a circle and cry it out, or just be seen in whatever I was going through. That was so supportive.
Space held for you.
So important, because we hold such a huge space as space holders for birth. So I found that so supportive. But when my training ended, when my midwifery training ended, there was no support group like that. And I've, really missed that. Now I have colleagues, and you'll debrief with, maybe, you work together with another midwife and you'll talk about the birth, but to actually sit in a circle and just be witnessed. This circle will not fix you or give you advice if you don't want to. It can also be just a safe space of just debriefing. It's confidential. It's this space of your peers that it's only them who really know what you're going through. And, sitting with me as an experienced midwife and space holder for birth, and being able to also then ask questions going like, this unfolded like this. What do you see in here that I don't? Or how, is there anything that so it's a real learning process as well, like continued development, really, to be in this. It's very supportive, but it's also continued development, really. So that is for the whole year. It's not just the 6 months, it's the whole year. And then you can also choose. Anyone who's been a mentee of mine can continue to be in that community for however long they want. There'll be a membership that you can apply to be in, and you just continue for however long you want to be in that community. It can be a lifetime you're in that community. We'll be there. And that, I feel, is one of the most beautiful things, I think. After years of being, a midwife, I feel like at the end of the day, that is what I feel will be the most valuable at the end of the day, as the future unfolds and you're in the birth world.
Oh, so beautiful. I am gonna have to probably go put my baby to bed soon, but I was wondering if there was anything else that was on your heart to say as we close about this mentorship.
Beautiful. Well, I was just really grateful that you wanted to come on and have a chat with me about the art of sacred space holding. I feel, just as we mentioned in the beginning, like turning back to that, it truly is what is missing with most birth workers out there. And it is something that is needed to be brought back into the birth space. Now, the mentorship is here to cultivate you as such, but also as a sacred birth advocate. and a bit of a little rebel. So a big part of this mentorship will also be really understanding the system we're in, how to advocate for your families and how to inform them, to be really knowledgeable about that. I feel like that's also really missing in the birth world. Informed consent is something that is talked about but not really implemented in our modern birth culture, and
It's a
we
near and dear
need
topic to my heart.
yes. I know. And so I just wanted to end on that note that that is a really important part of this too. I am quite rebellious. I have a very rebellious heart, and my mentorship would not be mine if it wasn't for some fire in the end. Where hopefully, as you know, that is my intention, that as you step out, you'll feel fully empowered in protecting and safeguarding someone's physiological birth space. And when things unfold differently, to be able to walk with her into the hospital system, or being in the hospital already, and being her sacred birth advocate.
Yeah.
So, you know, if anyone who's watching or listening to this feel called to learn more about becoming the sacred space holder and birth advocate, then I invite you to apply for the mentorship. There is one starting as we're doing this recording on the 15th of May 2023. There'll be more coming as well in the years to come. So this is my invitation. If it's not open when you're listening and watching to this, the enrollment, then go on the waiting list for the next one, and reach out to me if you want to know more.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you so much for holding the space for me to bring this wisdom through.
Truly my pleasure.